The White House has directed NASA to establish a unified time standard for the moon, a critical step towards setting up lunar bases for future missions to Mars and beyond. This lunar heartbeat is essential for precise navigation, secure communications, and streamlining complex operations on and from the moon's surface. Without this standard, plans to use the moon as a launch pad for more ambitious deep space exploration could face delays. NASA has until 2026 to develop the system in an effort to establish U.S. leadership in contemporary space exploration. In the end, it's all just primates in tin cans. This is to capture your imagination and direct your attention from the real action in deep space exploration, which is on the spiritual plane, in the energetic field. Ask any advanced technologist, especially those working in social computing. The future of computing is spatial and spiritual, rooted in social physics and choice architecture, photonics, and the energetic field. We made it so far. Apple has laid off more than 700 workers in their micro LED displays division and the Apple Car project. Best Buy just performed a round of mass layoffs in their Geek Squad, tech troubleshooting agents who come to your house. A survey by a staffing company shows that AI is cutting worker numbers overall. Adecco Group, which is the company, says that AI will lead to many companies employing fewer workers over the next 5 years. A 2023 World Economic Forum study shows that 25% of companies expected AI to decrease the number of jobs, whereas 50% expected AI to increase the number of jobs. When something's happening in the world, it may or may not be reported. A good example of this is advances in science and technology are probably far beyond what's publicly made available for us to know about. So when something happens in the world, it can easily either be downplayed or amplified. The layoffs are clearly being amplified. And it's my opinion, a solution is going to be offered. The solution is central bank, digital currency, universal basic income. I don't know if it will start out being conditional, but it's eventually going to be conditional. So if you buy certain things, that might decrease your UBI, or your UBI is not going to allow you to buy certain things. You can only buy approved things with that money. So in that way, it becomes a digital control system. And that's where we get the idea of like open air digital prison for everyone. For everyone. And it's just helpful if you can understand this right now. Remember last week, SWIFT, the major payment processing network that communicates in between banks, is building a central bank digital currency platform that these currencies can be traded in between. A Roblox executive says that children making money on the platform is not exploitation, it's a gift. Someone on the Building the Open Metaverse podcast, I don't remember who, this person said Roblox taught millions of kids to code, then empowered these kids to build games, and now it empowers those kids to build businesses and make money. I know a take often sounds cynical. This isn't meant to be judgmental, it's just meant to be informational. So most of these kids making money on Roblox have Pluto in Capricorn. That means that there's going to be an element of fear and having been taken advantage of around Capricorn themes, which are like establishments and building businesses. Like Capricorn is business, Capricorn is building. Capricorn is building businesses over time. So the fact that like a business has been built on the backs of a lot of children making stuff for very little money on this platform, I know because I tried it. There's I think a low percentage of people making a lot of money or making enough money to sustain themselves. And then there are a lot of kids and non-kids toiling away, doing a lot of work for not really very much money. These two sets of stories are interesting in regards to our new economy and how the metaverse is our new economy. People competing for attention that results in money, and people competing for gig work all over the world. If we think of how many people have been laid off in the past 6 months and how that changes the landscape of freelance platforms like Upwork and Fiverr and Uber and Instacart and YouTube and TikTok and Roblox and Fortnite. Everyone's been laid off. Everyone's being pushed into the metaverse. Kids are already in the metaverse. And this is where we lay our scene. So there are these spy holes in phone networks that allow you to be spied upon. We all know we're being spied upon. I bring this up because there's like whatever's in the news and what we're allowed to know about publicly. For some reason, we're allowed to know about this. So SS7, which was developed in the mid-1970s, can potentially be abused to track people's phones' locations, redirect calls, and text messages so that the info can be intercepted. I say this to mean like you're being spied on. Nothing is safe. There is no privacy. Did you watch that Bob Lazar documentary? I think it was on Netflix. There's a part where he's supposed to meet someone in the woods and they're supposed to have like no technology at all, and the feds still zero in on him. They like find him somehow. So even without your device, you can be found. This ties back with all the layoffs, the digital currency, universal basic income, which will be conditional, and it also ties into social impact bond markets, which is a new form of financial instrument which allows people to bet on human lives. So you can bet on a grade school kid. You can short a grade school kid. You can bet that kid is not gonna go to college or be successful. And then when they don't, according to the data, because they're being surveilled, you win money. It's like the social impact bond markets are like the premise of the film Trading Places, where at the end, all of this stuff happens where they like trick a guy into like becoming poor, and they bet that it will ruin his life or something. And at the end, these two like Monopoly man millionaires, like millionaire characters were like, okay, here you go. Here's my bet for $1. That's social impact bond markets. There's a good component to it, obviously, which is like, if we're going to give money to a thing for social change, we should be able to track how that money is affecting things. But so in order to do that, everything needs to be surveilled. And then you can see how that can get out of hand. So this headline says, Anthropic researchers wear down AI ethics with repeated questions. So something that an AI is not supposed to be able to do, like tell you how to build a bomb. If you do these like intelligent maneuvers, lines of questioning, you can get the AI to tell you anything. And I think this is setting us up for like more Web3 stuff, where like Web3 is blockchain. Watch my cryptocurrency for beginners video if you haven't already. It's not what you think, but in order to access any Web3 thing, which is going to be the future, you need a digital ID. There is no like, we're gonna make everyone have digital IDs. No, the metaverse is our new economy and our new government, and to access the metaverse, which is a set of Web3 technologies organized around a central goal, to access our new economy and new government, you will need a digital ID. It's already happening. There is no like debate over whether or not digital IDs to get on the internet will be a thing. And obviously you have to have an account to access any of these big public AI tools. If you wanted to tinker with some pre-existing models yourself, you don't need an account. So that's my take on that. I might be missing something about why that headline is important, because this gets talked about all the time. And then the other thing is that Anthropic is being invested in by Amazon, and it's one of Amazon's largest investment. So there's a reason why this is in the news. Amazon wouldn't allow something like this to be in the news for no reason, in my opinion. I actually don't know what's going on. Someone might have just thought this was interesting and they have the influence to make it a major tech news headline. Chase, JP Morgan Chase, is about to let advertisers target consumers based on their spending at Chase. So if you're a Chase customer, your spending is about to be used to be marketed to you. Again, this connects back to digital currencies, universal basic incomes, which are coming, which will be conditional. If you're being inured to like, oh, whatever, they're going to market to me, who cares? I like the Chase app. This is being set up to get you okay with your spending being monitored. It was already being monitored, but like now we're out in the open that like, yeah, we're looking at it and we're gonna do stuff with it that affects your experience in life. It's called Chase Media Solutions, and it comes from Chase bought a card-linked marketing platform called Fig in 2022. Tennessee passed a quote-unquote chemtrail bill banning airborne chemicals, which is funny because that's not a thing. If you look at the Bob Lazar Wikipedia, they're like, Bob Lazar is a conspiracy theorist, an American conspiracy theorist. Tennessee is an American conspiracy theorist state. This week, much of the action is front-loaded. You're basically like, we're getting out of the woods after Thursday afternoon, evening. When I think of Aries, although Aries as a part of the body is the head, I think of the hara. I'm probably saying it wrong. Imagine where your belly button is and then go an inch or so inside your body. This place is considered a reservoir of chi, or vital life force energy. And if you drive yourself from this place, which I always forget to do because I'm a Libra, but it's interesting that it's in like, it's closer to like the Libra zones of the body than the Aries zones of the body. So that's an interesting polarity. Aries in your chart, whatever place that is, requires hara, driving things from this strong gut place. It's not your gut like your intuition. It's like your strength and your will. And this solar eclipse in Aries, this major solar eclipse, which if you're in the United States, it's definitely going to affect you. If you're in the eastern/central United States, especially in the path of totality, it's definitely going to affect you. There's something about eclipses that you can't control. They're a chaotic time of change. Mercury Retrograde is also a signature of potential chaos in a different way. So the energy, the quality of this time, especially Monday, is a little unwieldy, or a lot unwieldy. If you think of a dragon, the calculated points that allow us to predict eclipses are symbolized in astrology by dragons, or as a dragon. It's like a dragon with its head cut off, and one end is the tail with no head, the other end is a head with no tail. Dragons are powerful and inspiring, and in some ways can be lucky, but they can turn on you. There's something about the Aries part of your chart, and it's a solar eclipse on the North Node, Rahu, the dragon's head, the insatiable head, where you're identifying with this area of life more. Like there's something new, especially if you're in a sun-ruled year, especially if you're in a moon-ruled year, and especially if you're in an annual profection that identifies the sign of Aries. So if you're in a first house profection and you're an Aries rising, this will be important. Or if you just have a lot of planets in Aries. There's a lot that's not within your control in eclipses. It's just like observe. But if you want to become volitional about it, like what do I do with this chaos? The chaos energy of Monday is great change around identifying more with the Aries part of your chart operating from Hara. Watch your crazy emotions. Its emotions can be very heightened. And especially with a Mercury retrograde, there's a chance for like an offhanded comment or, tripping on a banana peel can like totally change the course of your life or others' lives forever. And don't be afraid of it. Just all the magic is in the present moment. Also, don't do any magic. Okay, so this week, Monday is like peak gauntlet. And the energy around Monday and around this time, especially about Monday, is going to culminate around the full moon in Aries, October 17th, 2024. So this October, when you look back, like next year, this time next year, when you look back at right now through October, you'll see like an upward arc of like increasing events and activity building towards something for that energy to then release. And it's an energy of great change, especially if the bodies involved in the eclipse events are activated for you this year or are prominent for you natally. Tuesday is just the moon moving into Taurus, where it's exalted, so that's nicer, but it's squaring Pluto, so you want to make a beautiful scrumptious cheese board, but your UBI will only allow you to buy Wonder Bread and Ritz crackers and like Lunchables. Wednesday is like its own thing. The moon conjoins Jupiter midday, so that's good. If everything that's going to happen on Wednesday is happening, at least the moon is conjoining Jupiter, which is the ruler of Pisces, where Mars conjoins Saturn. This happens once every 2 years. And Mars-Saturn signatures are signatures of frustration. And especially in Pisces, they're signatures of like you're coming up against the fabric of reality, and it's like things you couldn't see are stopping you. There's like the way that all astrologers always describe it is it's like hitting the gas and the brakes at the same time. Mars and Saturn don't like each other, but if you take advantage of this frustration energy, just keep going. It's like the best way out is through, or like if you find yourself in a dark time, keep going. I forget how that quote goes. That's Wednesday, and that's everything before Wednesday also. After Wednesday, thankfully, it happens like Wednesday afternoon, late afternoon, midday. After Wednesday, that influence is separating, thankfully. So whatever Mars is in your chart, the eclipse stuff is ruled by Mars applying to Saturn. That could be frustrating. The frustration quality of Mars applying to Saturn so closely on Monday during the eclipse can help stoke those heightened emotions that might lead you to do something crazy that changes your whole life. And if that's what you do, then that's what you needed to do. I approach times of eclipse with great caution because times of eclipse have shaped my life. And I can see how like a tiny little thing I did, like this is a time where like what you do, you can't take back. Probably, maybe. It might be like that all the time. Anyway, so Wednesday, the moon is doing a thing this week where like when something happens, the moon is also there pinging it. So the moon sextiles Mars and Saturn early in the morning on Wednesday. And then Mars conjoins Saturn in the afternoon. So Wednesday is very much about this Mars-Saturn conjunction that happens twice a year. But the last couple times the Mars-Saturn conjunction occurred, it was in Aquarius. So like March of 2020, late March of 2020, that was a Mars-Saturn conjunction in the beginning of Aquarius. And that was like peak lockdowns. It's like we still haven't come out of the 2 weeks to flatten the curve, and it looks like it's not ending anytime soon. And for a lot of people, that was like great frustration. So this one in Pisces, Aquarius is the collective, and we could see very clearly how that affected the collective, the Mars-Saturn conjunctions in Aquarius. But this Mars-Saturn conjunction is more about hidden things. And since it's associated so closely with a time of eclipse, we might not be able to really see what is going on right now, but we'll be able to get the benefit of hindsight. So wow, Monday, huge. Tuesday, you get sort of a break, kind of. Wednesday, huge. Thursday marks the center of Mercury's retrograde. So Thursday, Mercury retrograde is half over. And the second half of Mercury retrograde is always things are like a resolution is forming instead of like, and that's marked, the halfway point of Mercury retrograde is marked by the interior conjunction of Mercury with the sun. So from the point of view of Earth, Mercury and the sun are aligned and Mercury is inside the sun. That's always the halfway point. And if you want to know more about Mercury retrograde through Aries right now, go watch my Mercury retrograde through Aries video. That will also tell you what it means for your sign. So Thursday is kind of cute. The moon is in Gemini, ruled by Mercury when the conjunction with the sun happens. And that conjunction is and with the moon in Gemini, we all might benefit from this. I like to do, like, when my life structure allows it, I like to meditate during planetary conjunctions with the sun. So this Mercury retrograde conjunction with the sun occurs at 4:02 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So translate that to wherever you are. And take a quiet moment sometime around there, like 5 minutes before and after, 10 minutes on either side. If you can get quiet during that time, it might reveal insights, especially if you're in a Mercury ruled year. I mean, if you can get quiet anytime, it's going to reveal insights. But the astrology for doing that is particularly potent on Thursday. That happens 3 times a year. Mercury's conjunction with the sun. And the moon in Gemini sextiles Venus in Aries, which is kind of cute. It's like keeping it light, at least. It's not like utterly sumptuous. It's Venus in Aries, but it's something. So interesting, the two, like Wednesday and Thursday, we have the moon conjoining Jupiter and the moon sextiling Venus. It's nice to be held this week by some nice aspects, given this is a time of intensity and chaos. But we're headed out of the gauntlet for now into some pretty nice astrology late spring and early summer. Friday is like an echo of Wednesday's Mars-Saturn conjunction and Thursday's Sun-Mercury conjunction. It kind of like mixes together both. We have the moon squaring Saturn and squaring Mars, annoying, so more of that peak frustration energy. And the moon sextiles Mercury retrograde, so it's like the moon pings Mercury, possibly in a beneficial way, like whatever insights you might have gained or however you might find yourself being able to handle the challenges and make them constructive and get yourself out of the challenges instead of descending deeper into confusion. Friday offers that. And Saturday is very different. The moon squares Neptune. The moon in Gemini squares Neptune early in the morning. And then the moon moves into Cancer, where it's like on Saturday it won't really square all the stuff in Aries yet. So you get maybe a break on Saturday. Maybe you can finally make that cheese board and eat it in the bathtub. Sunday's a continuation of Saturday, but with a little bit more action. The moon is now squaring Venus in Aries. So any moon connection with a benefic is good, but also it could be like you want to have fun, but you also want to chill all day on the couch and rest because you've had a busy season so far. You know, you might want to like go out and have fun, but you also might want to chill. Those two things could be at odds. So if you go have fun, you might feel kind of run down from the gauntlet. And if you stay in and chill, you might get FOMO. And the moon trines Saturn and trines Mars. So you could get a lot of work done. You could maybe do neither. Don't chill. Don't have fun. Get that shit done. Remember, your Wi-Fi is a camera that can see through walls.